everybody, we're going to start the presentation, the activity, and obviously good morning to all of you. Thank you very much for sharing with us this upcoming activity. And this is the first of a new kind of activity, because so far we've been doing book reviews, which is great, which is wonderful, but we wanted to have something more interactive. And I want to emphasize the word interactive, because in the book review, it's pretty much the speaker just speaks, and the audience just simply sits down and listens to it. And that is, to some extent, a bit boring. So we want to do something different. We want to do something which is far more engaging with the audience. And that's what this first activity is all about. And for it, we've got Professor Dr. Roberto Echevarría Marín, who's very kindly offered himself to start this new series of activities. And the way that we want to achieve interactivity with the audience is by means of a series of polls. Every now and then you will see some survey on the screen, just a statement, and maybe 2, 3, 4 different possible answers, and you simply pick the answer that you think is far more appropriate, which is correct given the video, and then that will give us the opportunity to further explore the issue of comunicación interpersonal. And without much ado, to quote Shakespeare, without much ado, I give Dr. Roberto Echevarría the floor. The mic is yours, Roberto.
Good morning, and thank you, Dr. Peña. I'm trying to share the presentation. I don't quite see the command to do so.
Let me go over there.
It's on my screen. It's on my screen. The taggy.
Okay, pero tienes que estar en, ¿dónde está en Teams? No estás,
Okay.
Vete a Teams.
Okay, I'm Teams.
All right. Here.
But I don't see it on.
Okay. Let me go back to. Okay. No, because.
I can send to you.
Sí. No. That should do it. Okay, now let's. Vamos a ver si. Debe estar aquí dismiss. Vamos a ver. Okay. Vete haciendo así por así, porque es la única manera que de momento puedo verlo. Ahí estamos.
Este no es.
Esta no es la presentación.
Este es guía de mentoría.
Ok. Sorry for these guys. Close.
Technical glitch.
Esto, entonces. Ok, entonces ahora sube la presentación, que es.
Okay.
That is it. Okay, slideshow. Let me go over here. And then let's go to. Esta es la que teníamos antes, ¿no?
Sí. Yes. Salió la misma. Guía de mentoría.
Pues.
Parece que se desconectaron otra vez. Vamos a darle un par de minutitos. Creo que están en la universidad. Sé que some of you are in the university, so I know that you might not have a very good stable internet. Let's just wait for them. Let me just send a message. Maybe they haven't realized that they have no connection. Parece que la señal en la universidad está grave, parece. No se escucha, están en mute. Ahora se ven, pero están en mute.
Yeah.
Ahora, ¿no?
Sí, ahora sí. Ahora sí. Apologies, guys, for the technological
Algo
issues
así,
in
porque
the
ahora
OPR.
no puedo hacer más.
Thank you, Juan. Be careful, Juan.
Sí.
Tú te vas a caer. Okay. Welcome back, everyone, and thank you for your patience. So we'll be sharing ideas. All of us will be sharing ideas about interpersonal communication. There are concepts that seem to be simple, but actually, in actual life, they are not as simple as they seem to be. For example, if I ask everyone about the
Se
Is
volvió
everything
ahí.
all right, Roberto?
Se volvió ahí. Y la pantalla también está en blanco.
Let me go back.
Sorry, guys. The idea is to do it interactive, right? But if we don't, the problem with the internet is quite a challenge. So the idea, just to kind of give you like a background of what we're going to be doing is that Roberto, Professor Echevarría is going to be presenting some concepts about interpersonal communications, and then it's going to be interactive because there's going to be polls, right? Polls are surveys, like ¿verdad? Los pequeños polls que se salen en Teams, and then you guys can have access to the poll and you can answer. So you will be taking a look at some videos that they have and then answering some polls that Teams generates. Okay, so that's what mainly the workshop is going to be about, is interacting with the videos that Professor Echevarría is going to display, and then having a conversation, right, of what do you think is observing, right, observing the scenes in the clips that he's going to provide, and then having a discussion, right, of observations that you can make of the interactions that are taking place. Okay, so let's see what if they can come back. ¿Están ahí? ¿No estás conectado con el
Sí, está
con el
conectado.
mismo internet?
Sí.
Porque es que si no, con Wi-Fi.
Share. Interpersonal communication. Ah, no, eso es un Word. Ah, no, ¿verdad? Aquí está. ¿Ves la presentación, Ana Marín?
Sí, se ve, se ve.
¿Y nos escucha?
Yes, we can hear you.
Thank you, Juan. I owe you lunch. Thank you everyone for your patience. So then let's begin. Actually, even though we are not aware, we may spend 80-90% of our waking time communicating. It is said that normally younger people tend to rely more on texting than older people. Since we don't have much time, I will not ask you why do you think that that is so. Some basic definitions. It is always good practice to keep in mind basic definitions. Communication is simply the process of acting on information. When we communicate, we want someone to believe what we are saying. We want people to do what we suggest that they do, right? So that's the meaning of acting on information. Human communication is simply the process of making sense out of the world, sharing that sense with people, and even with ourselves, if the case may be. Interpersonal communication, the technical definition, so to speak, is distinctive because it's a particular transactional form of human communication involving mutual influence, usually for the purpose of managing relationships or for sharing information. Now, sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. Like you will see in the following clip from the Big Bang Theory. Some of you may know the series, and then we'll ask some questions after you watch the video.
No se escucha el audio del video.
Sí, yo tampoco lo escucho.
Adiós el video.
El video se ve, pero no, el audio del video no se escucha, pero están. Quizás, maybe, me pueden decir cuál es el link y lo podemos.
Sí, está en,
Ah.
en Teams, en la página, pero no puedo.
¿Quieres que lo?
No, espera.
You can follow the words.
Okay, esto, déjame, Roberto, déjame, let me run the video clip directly from YouTube. Give me a second, please.
Thank you.
Okay, let me see if I can do this. Okay. Too many things at the same time.
Y también.
Okay. Give me a second,
Lo puedo
guys.
también proyectar desde aquí.
Can you hear now? Can you hear?
No.
No. You
No,
cannot,
todavía
right?
no. Todavía.
Claro,
You
voy a
cannot hear?
buscar voy a buscarlo otra vez si, porque yo estoy desde mi casa y puedo a lo mejor.
No lo oías, Marín.
No se oye, no.
But this video has subtitles. Maybe we can go ahead with the questions.
Pero déjame, ¿cómo se llama? Pass the Border, the
Sí.
Big Bang. Voy a verificar si se escucha de acá, ¿ok?
Thank you.
First there was PlayStation, aka
Ok,
Se escucha, yeah.
ok, déjame
Sí,
share,
ahora sí.
déjame share a moment. Pero a mí no me deja share.
Sí, no, porque no te tengo. Déjame
¿Me puedes dar?
Sí, estoy buscando. Déjame. Ana Mari. Ok, Ana Mari, se supone que puedas ahora. Verifica a ver.
¿Será que tengo que volver a salir y entrar quizá?
No, creo porque. Déjame. Who can present? Organizers. Ana Mari, ya tú estás aquí, o sea que.
No me deja
Como,
todavía.
como organizer. Espera. Déjame darle save, que había que apretar save.
Ahora,
Try
ahora
now.
sí,
Okay.
ahora sí. Ok. ¿Me dejan saber?
PS1. Then there's PS2,
¿Se oyen?
Yes.
PS3, and now PS4. And that makes sense.
Go all the way back to the beginning, Ana Mari.
Ok.
Okay. Yo también le doy para atrás.
No, Ana Mari.
¿Ya?
Sí, go ahead.
First there was PlayStation, aka PS1. Then there's PS2, PS3, and now PS4. And that makes sense. You'd think after Xbox, there'd be Xbox 2. But no. Next came Xbox 360. And now, after 360, comes Xbox One. Why one? Maybe that's how many seconds of thought they put into naming it. Can you get the butter, please? Yeah. However, with the Xbox One, I can control my entire entertainment system using voice commands. Up until now, I've had to use Leonard. Get the other one. Pass the butter. Hang on. I don't feel like you're taking this dilemma seriously.
Fine, Sheldon. You have my undivided attention.
Okay, now, the PS4 is more angular and sleek looking.
No way.
It's true. But the larger size of the Xbox One may keep it from overheating.
You wouldn't want your gaming system to overheat?
No, you absolutely would not. And then furthermore, the Xbox One now comes with a Kinect included.
Included?
Not sold separately. Although the PS4 uses cool new GDDR5 RAM, while the Xbox One is still using the conventional DDR3 memory.
Why would they still be using DDR3? Are they nuts?
Ahí se fue el sonido, ¿no? Yo perdí el sonido.
This is a nightmare. How will you ever make a decision?
See, I don't know. What should I do?
Just pass the butter.
Okay, thank you. That's the situation. So then, please, Juan, question number 1.
Okay, give me a sec. All right, okay. Let me try this one. Okay, launch.
¿Todos
No,
podemos
no.
contestar a ese o no?
Sí.
Yes.
Some of you may see the survey right on the screen, and if you are on a cell phone, you may see the survey right in the chat area. Depending on what instrument, what tool you are using, it will be on the center of the screen or within the chat area. Either or.
You'll see.
¿Entendieron, chicos, guys? Did you? Have any questions? Let us know, all right?
Certainly.
Why is the butter so important?
Again, you are given a statement and you are given 4 possible answers. Simply based on the video clip, pick the one that you think is really describes the actual situation in the video clip. And then simply click submit. Okay, we've got 9 surveys, 9 answers so far. 10. How many people are in here? That's 22. All right, okay. So we'll give the audience a few more seconds to answer. We got 17. Okay, 5 more seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All right. Okay. So let me go back to my poll. So I think you can see we've got 22% who for the first answer who says the battery is important, and 78% it is because it is the main point to Amy, to the female character. Back to you, Roberto. Perdona.
Okay. Thank you very much. So the main message took a long way to be acted on by Shelby, who is too much into his techno mentality, and he had no initial regard for Amy's request, which is simply pass the butter. In a healthy communication environment, the influence is mutual. I can get what you are communicating and sort of absorb what is useful to me, and it should be also the other way around. The basis of interpersonal communication, it's respect. It seems to me there is quite a difference between, for example, in terms of corporations. In corporate America, communication tends to be vertical, meaning it comes from the top to the bottom. In Nordic countries, it tends to be horizontal, meaning by that everyone's voice, everyone's opinion has the same weight, and obviously the communication result is quite different. So then respect is the basis of effective communication, and you may ask, and how do we define effective? Effective is when the intended goal has been met, when the intended message has been received by our audience. And respect not only has to do with communication, it has to do with identity. I respect you to the degree that I confirm and accept your identity. To be confirmed means that we are valued by fellow human beings. Okay. Regarding relationship, it's also an important element. It has to do with the connecting with one another. There is a very famous American poet, Wallace Stevens, who says, for example, just connect, meaning by that's the basic of communication. That's like, say, step one, just connect, and the rest of the process will flow nicely. Okay. Now, there's an added element regarding face-to-face encounters, and that is that we are sharing or transmitting two kinds of information. One is the one that comes out of verbalizing, out of what we say, and the other one is what we show through our body and the way we look at people and the way that we move about and the way in which we touch an ear, for example. So then that's a verbal and non-verbal messages. Ideally, both should communicate the same. If what I'm saying does not correspond with my non-verbal messaging, then there's something that is not quite correct. Okay. What do we mean by confirming behaviors, which means accepting the other person's identity as legitimate? It is defined as follows. Confirming behaviors are those which permit people to experience their own being and significance as well as their connectedness with others. Right? That's the basic definition. It is very important because in that process, it touches everything that we do in life. Even if we're communicating with our pets, that's an important element, right? And it's a source of pleasure when we're able to communicate effectively with other people. That's pleasant, and it has been proven to be also very important for physical our mental well-being. Let me share something that it just came to mind regarding human relations. It is very interesting, and it highlights the importance of communicating, even difficult ideas, things that bother us. It is very important that we communicate them to someone that we trust. Research shows if there's something bothering me in my mind, and it's just going about and about in my mind, at a given point, my mind will turn irrational. The problematic thing is decisions that may be made in that moment of irrationality. On the other hand, if what bothers me, I share that with someone, my mind will remain rational. And that's very interesting. It shows the power of communicating. Of course, if what it's bothering you, it's personal, indeed you should communicate with someone that you trust, but communicate because it will enable your mind to remain rational. Okay. So then, okay.
Roberto, if I may?
Yes.
May I? Okay, thank you. A couple of points I want to do. Say. First of all, I want to encourage anybody in the audience to participate, to raise your hand, or to simply speak right into the microphone. We want this activity to be as interactive as possible. And secondly, 22% of the audience picked the first answer. Who says the butter is important? To me, that implies that they believe butter is not important. I'd like to know any of those of you who actually picked up this particular answer. I would like you to explain to us your argumentation, why you think butter is not important in the scene. So any of you who picked answer number one, please speak up, turn on your microphone and share with us how you understood, how you view the scene, please. Anybody, any volunteer? ¿Alguien que se quiere ganar un par de puntos de bono en la clase con el profesor o la profesora?
You're talking about those who voted for the who
I
says the
believe I'm one of the two that picked. I'm one of the few that picked that answer. I guess in my term of reading how the scene went, I guess I just focused more on what Sheldon was saying instead of the butter, you know, because I kind of understood his like technical lingo, so I was more interested in that than her wanting the butter. I guess that's my way of interpreting that scene.
Okay, that's important. I mean, I don't want to take Roberto's place, far from that, but I think that point is important because it shows to us that everybody understands things, everybody views the very same situation in many different ways. Some of us were concerned with Amy's her desires. Some other people they might have been focusing on Sheldon instead. However, Lorenzo was looking somewhere else. So we all interpret the very same situation, or we may all interpret the very same situation differently, which is really part of what makes communication to some extent difficult, but at the same time, interesting. Roberto, back to you. Sorry for taking your time.
Thank you. Indeed, there is a very famous metaphor expressed by Einstein. He says two persons are standing on the platform of a train, and the train arrives, and each person is going to see a different train depending from where they at on the train station. Thank you very much for sharing your ideas with us. In the following scene, a movie that some of you may have seen, The Devil Wears Prada. There also seems to be some communication problems.
Ana María, do you have the? Probably because.
Yo lo tengo ya. Es the interviewing.
Sí.
The interviewing scene. I hope that I have enough audio because I don't know why the.
Okay.
Ya estoy presentando, ¿no?
Sí. Go ahead.
Okay.
Just click. Sí. No sound.
No
At
se
this moment?
oye.
No.
No, Ana Mari.
¿No se oye?
No.
No.
Yo creo que es que el audio está bien bajito. Miren a ver.
From Northwestern University.
Ahora. Yes.
Okay.
Go back to the beginning, please.
Okay, to the beginning.
Está bien, el audio está bien bajito, no sé por qué.
My name is Seth. I recently graduated from Northwestern University. What are you doing here? Well, I think I could do a good job as your assistant. And came to New York to be a journalist and sent letters out everywhere. And then finally got a call from Elias Clark and met with Sherry up at Human Resources. And basically, it's this or Auto Universe.
So you don't read Runway?
No?
Before today, you had never heard of Eden.
No.
You have no style or sense of fashion.
Well, I think that depends on what you're...
No. That wasn't a question.
I was editor-in-chief of the Daily Northwestern. I also won a national competition for college journalists with my series on the Janitors Union, which exposed the
That's all.
exploitation of... Yeah, okay. Right, don't fit in here. I am not skinny or glamorous, and I don't know that much about fashion, but I'm smart. I learn fast, and I will work
All right,
very...
I got the exclusive on the Cavalli for Gwyneth. But the problem is, with that huge feathered headdress that she's wearing, she looks like she's working the main stage as Golden Nugget.
Thank you for your time.
He's this little person. Are we doing a before and after piece? I don't know.
Communication problems. Please, question number 1.
Okay, launching. There you go. Okay, again, guys, you've got another survey on the screen. 15, 17 people already have replied. Few more seconds. And again, if you want to partake in the conversation, please simply raise your hand or speak directly into the microphone on your system. Again, we want to do this as interactive as possible, so please. Few more seconds. Okay, we've got 18. Let's see if we can reach 20, 19, and one more, and then waiting for reply number 20. All right, okay. We cannot reach 20, so we'll stay with 19. So the first 2 answers didn't get any click. For 5%, I don't know how many people, maybe 1 person. The receiver is too old. And then most of the people went for the prejudicial barrier. Okay, Roberto.
Thank you very much. May I ask you a question, Lorenzo?
Of course, go ahead.
Thank you. If communication failed, who's at fault?
I think the fault is in the person that the protagonist is trying to have an interview with, she is just
the old lady.
Yeah, she's just having a mental barriers, like this person is below me. I don't think this person is fitting to have a interview with me because she is not of my same. I think it also has to do a little bit with social class.
Could be, yes. Very good point.
Because you can tell that she's a woman that's very in the high life, in a fashion, into like doing stuff correctly. And even though like the other character has a lot of positive traits, that barrier of social classes is also very prominent here.
Yes, indeed. Thank you. Hola, Ariana.
Saludos.
Saludo. Hello. Miranda asked, so you don't read Runway. Why is the answer important? If you consider that it's important. So you don't read Runway. Is that important?
Well, honestly, I believe that in that movie, she is like the owner of a fashion company.
Ariana,
So for her, it is something very important. Excuse me?
no, Ariana, I think the loudspeaker in your system is producing a feedback. So we hear you twice. So you can turn down the volume.
Okay. Is it better now?
Oh yes, much better.
Okay, perfect.
Thank you.
Well, it seems like she's like the owner of a company that is involved in the fashion industry.
Yeah.
And due to this, it is for her important that, or she assumes that it's important to contract somebody that is involved in that industry. And I think she's just being very prejudiced over her appearance, over the appearance of this young lady that's going to get interviewed during the whole process, like Lorenzo said. And well, I think that's basically all.
Very good.
Excellent. Thank you. Daniel.
Yes.
Yes. Good morning. Thank you for being here.
Good morning to you as well.
At what point did Miranda change her attitude towards the young woman?
When she was like, she thought of going out of the interview, and she like said like she's a very hardworking woman, and that she gave it like a second try. She like changed the look to her. Like, I don't know if she like found something in her different, because maybe other candidates have done the same thing that are young as well, but she did that it may seem different, so that caught her attention.
What you are saying, I believe, is that she took a more proactive approach.
Yes, right? Yes.
It was important because that's what really showed Meryl that she really has the power, the what's the word in English? The intent to really go fight for what she believes in, and that's probably something that Meryl really likes to see in people. Yes. Yeah. Very good point.
Thank you. Excellent. Hola, Sara. I'm guessing it's pronounced Sara. Hola, Sara. Mira, llega Sara. Hola, Sara. Yes. Good morning.
Okay. Okay. Good morning.
Let me ask you one question. Do you think that the young lady, Andy, was she prepared for a job interview? How do you see that? Was she really prepared for that job interview?
Yeah, she was totally prepared. Like, I don't know how to explain it furthermore, but she.
Maybe let me ask you, what would you have done different, if anything?
I would have researched more about the company. That I would have done that beforehand, and know more about the industry, and of course about the people in, like, the most important people in charge of that company. And and yeah, I think that.
That's a great point. Thank you, because she seems to be famous, right? So then,
Yeah, that's also.
yeah. So then, the fact that you don't know me and you don't read our publication, like a big sins, right?
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Excellent. Someone else
This
on the scene? Someone else? Hola, Evelyn. Mientras llega Evelyn. Hola, Josué.
Come on, people. We can all make this far more interesting, and we can all learn something from everybody else. So that's the point.
Indeed. Indeed. Mientras
I'm
llega.
here.
Okay, Josué. Good morning. Regarding the job interview, what would you have done different in order to ensure the optimum level of communication? What would you have done different?
Well, besides what Sarah mentioned of doing my research
Mhm.
about what I'm getting into, right? Uh, maybe consider the importance of appearance, and maybe choose a different how do I say this, clothing, like go to a more a resort to a more to a more fitting for the situation.
Right?
If
Engage.
I
Yes, indeed. Thank you. Let me ask Kiaralis. Did I say that right? Kiaralis?
Hi, yes.
Hello. Good morning, and thank you for being here. Let me change the perspective. Let's say you are in Miranda's position.
Yep.
As you interview the young lady according to your own values, what would you have done different interviewing
Well,
this young lady?
well, I will definitely more like listen her out to what she's got to say, to her experience, and which parts of her experience apply to the job she's applying for. And let's see, I will pay like more close attention to her presence, and she was only, looking at her newspaper and wasn't really focusing on what she was saying to her that was valuable to her, since she was, becoming to New York to be a journalist, and she studied in Northern University and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I would have just listened to her out just a little bit before trying to be too judgmental on just her clothes.
Yes, indeed. Thank you. That's a very good point, right? The part of the equation, the listener, right? We can't rule the listener out, right? You have to listen. So then, let me ask you, Sebastian, and I'll finish with this. Hola, Sebastian.
I think Evelyn is also raising her hand. I don't know if you see her.
Okay, great. Okay.
No, I wanted to, I'm sorry to interrupt. I wanted to comment also on what
Yes, please
José
do.
mentioned about, I think what Kiralis mentioned is very accurate. Also what Josué mentioned about, and I think Sarah mentioned it as well, like knowing that she's going into the fashion design industry, she would have had to take better care of her professional outfit, right? And we see that in those who saw the movie could see in the rest of that she completely changed, right? I don't want to give spoilers about the movie, right? Okay, yeah, that was all I wanted to say.
Thank you. I haven't seen it. I will put it in my calendar for December.
Really good.
Hola, Sebastián. One final question, Sebastián, regarding the scene. Cuando llega Sebastián, que está en el café. Hola, Brian. Hola, Evelyn.
Hi,
Good morning.
Professor. Good morning.
Morning. Yes, sir.
I would say the interview would have gone better if Meryl Streep would have been a little more humble and less judgmental,
Miranda.
and the interviewed person would have been a little more confident and would have like a better hold of her own emotions.
Yes,
Because
indeed.
I don't think that she wasn't prepared. Maybe like with her outfit, yeah, she would have taken better care of herself. But I don't think that she wasn't prepared for the interview. I just think that both parties were not kind of in sync.
Great, thank you. Is it fair to say that in both situations, the Big Bang Theory clip and the Boy Prada clip, is it fair to say that there's a common link? The fact that one of the communicators is not listening. Is that a fair assessment?
I would say so, yes. I think, as I said before, sorry, they like both parties weren't in sync. They weren't communicating well. Like if they would have listened to each other, they would have properly answered. Like they just kept inside their own thoughts instead of actually trying to connect with the communication that and with the message that the other person was trying to say.
Yes, indeed. Thank you very much. Yes, indeed. I have a relative, un pariente, who when I say something I have not finished and the person is already answering me. It means that the person is not listening to me. If I'm answering you, I'm not listening. Okay, thank you very much. All right.
You're welcome.
He's an interrupter.
Right.
Yes, and when you feel interrupted, you kind of feel that there is no respect in the conversation, so you tend to just back off from the communication.
Yes, indeed.
Exactly.
Thank you. Now, our bias it's pertains to the human condition. There is a very famous speech by Shylock, who's a merchant, appears in Shakespeare's The Merchant of Venice, and he's the object of ridicule and of teasing and bullying. And someday, in a given moment, he answers people at Venice with this famous speech by this character. I am a Jew, have not a Jew eyes, have not a Jew hands, organs, dimensions, senses, affections, passions, fed with the same food, hurt with the same weapons, subject to the same diseases, healed by the same means. If you prick us, do we not bleed? If you tickle us, do we not laugh? What is Shylock's point? Let me ask. Hola, Brian. And then I'll ask Annette.
Maybe you want to repeat it?
Yes. What is Shylock's point? What is he arguing for? If you prick me, will I not bleed? If you tickle me, will I not laugh? What is his point? Because if there is bias, right, communication is hampered. It doesn't happen. At least not effectively. So what is Shylock's point?
We are all the same, right?
We're the same. We're the same. What do you think, Lorenzo? What is his point? Yes, indeed. Hola, Josian. Sorry. Go ahead.
Sorry, I'm having a little problem. I don't think I saw what you.
No.
Okay.
He didn't. No. Roberto was making a case based on a play
Let me
by
show you.
Shakespeare.
Yeah. This is Shylock. He's a Jew. This is 1601, 1602 in Venice. And he says, because of bias, if you prick me, will I not bleed, even though I'm a Jew? If you tickle me, will I not laugh? What is his point?
Well, I believe he's kind of stating something that is pretty obvious, like something like a general reaction to something that would make sense. It doesn't matter what. I think was the "as a Jew" part included in that quote.
Yeah.
Then, well, I think what he's trying to say is that it doesn't matter what race, ethnicity you are, whatever something may have been done to you is something that is generally felt by everybody. If you prickle me, will I not bleed? It means we all feel that pain. It doesn't matter what race you are. It doesn't matter what gender you are. And if you tickle me, will I not laugh? It is also saying the same thing. It's a shared emotion. Just because you're from a different ethnicity or race doesn't mean that your feelings are less valuable.
That's a great phrase. Thank you. A shared emotion, indeed.
You want to go with another question, Roberto? Maybe.
On that, yeah, sure. So then let me ask you, Sebastian or Rosa.
Yes, sí.
Okay, profesora, la otra Rosa, pero great.
Excuse me.
But great. So then, how do we minimize bias? What can we do in order so that to minimize bias in society?
Which Rosa? Rosa Guzman or Rosa
Guzman? I'm thinking about your article on cultural intelligence. How can we reduce the bias in society? What can we do, all of us?
Well, I think first of all, we must not undervalue other people, like Miranda did. So she undervalued her, and I think that one thing that she did okay, the other character, although the students say that they will have prepared for the interview, that she was not really fully prepared, is that at the end she showed persistence. And I think that's important. But to answer your question, I think that to not undervalue people, any person, is, I think, the first thing we should do.
Yes, indeed. Thank you very much. And I
want to add to that. I want to add to Rosa's comment. I think the very first thing we've got to realize is that all of us are biased. All of us have some bias against that kind of people, or that particular country, or that people from that religion. Whether we like it or not, we are all sinners from that point of view. And the very first step we've got to do is to really, well, acknowledge that particular weakness, flaw in our character, in the human being, and from there, trying to not be so.
Yes, indeed. Let me go back to a previous question, trying to be more specific. Hola, Andrea. Andrea o Rosa o Adalberto. You may help each other. That's great.
Yes, what's the question?
Okay, this is the question. At the end of this sort of failed interview, if we can call it that, Miranda pays close attention to Andy. What did Andy do different that attracted her attention, as you see it? She even took her glasses off. In a movie scene, every gesture, every object is being carefully planned. So Miranda even takes off her glasses at the end. What did Andy do different?
I mean, at the start of the interview, we can see that she is prepared, but she is not very confident.
Yes.
She also says at some point it's either this or auto universe or something like that. So she is not confident that she will actually get the job. She doesn't really know much about fashion or being her assistant. But it's only when at the end when she she didn't fall to the probably the test that Miranda was doing. She like the way she was treating her and stuff. It was only when she actually stood up and said like I'm not gonna let you treat me this way and I'm just going to leave. It's only then when she actually considered her to be her assistant.
Yes, indeed. Thank you. And as you spoke, something came to mind. So then let me ask you, hola Braulio, si está por ahí. Hola Braulio.
Aquí estoy.
Okay. Good morning. And thank you for being here. So then let me ask you, I have not seen the movie. So I don't have the benefit. Is Miranda really mean, or is she performing in order to see how Andy reacts under stress? What do you think? Is this the true Miranda, or is she playing a role in order to see how the young lady manages stress?
Well, for me, it can be both, but I feel that it is kind of disrespectful for someone to be looking at other way, because if I'm taking my time to be in that interview, I want to be respected. So for me, can be both, but I will go for the fact that she was not showing the respect that she deserves.
Yes, indeed. So then, as we have seen, she did not validate Andy's identity, right? I read somewhere that Meryl Streep stays in character throughout the filming of the movie. If that is true, it means she was a difficult person throughout the filming of the whole movie. So that's very interesting. I read somewhere that she stays in character. She doesn't, okay, this is break time. Let me go back to being Meryl. No, it doesn't happen. She stays in character. Let me then go and end with our final video, and I'll ask some question on that. Let me go down to our final video. Is that okay? From the movie Legally Blonde.
¿Es este?
Let me see. Voy para allá. Yes. Yeah.
Sí.
Okay.
Thank you.
Miss Wyndham, what had you done earlier that day? I got up, got a latte, went to the gym, got a perm, and came home. Were you got in the shower?
I believe the witness has made it clear that she was in the shower.
Yes, Your Honor. Miss Wyndham, had you ever gotten a perm before?
Yes.
How many would you say?
2 a year since I was 12. You do the math.
You know, a girl in my sorority, Tracy Marcinko, got a perm once. We all tried to talk her out of it. Girls weren't a good look for her. She didn't have your bone structure. But thankfully, that same day, she entered the Beta Delta Pi wet t-shirt contest where she was completely hosed down from head to toe. Objection. Why is this relevant? Oh, I have a point, I promise.
Then make it.
Chutney, why is it that Tracy Marcinko's curls were ruined when she got hosed down?
Because they got wet?
Exactly. Because isn't it the first cardinal rule of perm maintenance that you're forbidden to wet your hair for at least 24 hours after getting a perm at the risk of deactivating the ammonium thioglycolate? Yes. And wouldn't somebody who's had, say, 30 perms before in their life be well aware of this rule? And if, in fact, you weren't washing your hair, as I suspect you weren't because your curls are still intact, wouldn't you have heard the gunshot? And if, in fact, you had heard the gunshot, Brooke Wyndham wouldn't have had time to hide the gun before you got downstairs, which would mean that you would have had to have found Mrs. Wyndham with a gun in her hand to make your story plausible. Isn't that right? She's my age. Did she tell you that? How would you feel if your father married someone who was your age? You, however, had time to hide the gun, didn't you, Chutney? After you shot your father. I didn't mean to shoot him. I thought it was you walking through the door.
Bailiffs take the witness into custody where she will be charged for the murder of Hayworth Wyndham. In the matter of the state versus Brooke Wyndham, this case is dismissed. Mrs. Wyndham, you're free to go.
Of course, the rules are simple and finite. Any Cosmo girl would have known.
Thank you, Ana Marie. Please, Juan, first question.
Okay, anyone, right? All right, let's
Yes.
go with this one.
Yeah. Okay.
Launching. We have 4 answers so far, 6. I mean, replies. We have 9 so far, 9 replies. And
Mira, una aclaración es que como nuestro curso es hasta las 11 de la mañana, pues una clase de 1 hora.
okay.
Algunos estudiantes se están excusando porque tienen trabajo.
Okay, great. Okay.
Por eso les dejo saber que se han ido algunos.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you for being here.
We'll finish
Thank you those for staying. Thank you for those who are
Thank you.
here.
We'll end with this question.
Okay, we got 13 answers, so probably some people have already left, so we'll go with these 13. So we've got 38% went with the very first option. She shut off, that is that L, she did communicate effectively, and then 50% that she did not, because she didn't seem sure of herself. So Roberto, back to you.
Fantastic. One final question to anyone. When did you could see her face? When did Ale gain confidence? She suddenly showed confidence. What happened, or what did she hear that gave her confidence?
I believe she gained her confidence when she heard the line about the perm, because like she's very into that fashion area, and having a perm is something along those lines. She wasn't very confident at first, so that's what I picked. She wasn't confident at first, and then when she heard
the perm line, that's when she was in the area of her expertise, and that's with that area of expertise she managed to reach the conclusion, and then we got the plot twist.
Indeed. Thank you. Indeed, blondes are not expected to be smart, according to a common masculine bias, right? So thank you very much. I appreciate. Thank you for being here. Thank you to my colleagues. Thank you to the students. And thank you to our chair, Dr. Peña. I'm most grateful.
No need. Thank you, Dr. Echevarría, for your work here, and obviously also a very heartfelt thank you to all the students who've been here with us. And we hope that you enjoyed this activity, this interactive activity. I think it was pretty successful because we were able to actually have pretty much everyone speak their minds and talk, and an obvious exchange of information, and that is certainly part of the success of the activity. So until next time, sometime in February, I guess. Thank you for being here, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. I'll see you.
Thank you.
Gracias,
Ana Mari.
Roberto.
Thank you, Ana Mari.
Bye bye, nos vemos después.
Gracias, Rosa.
Bye.
Bye.